officers?
No, it's a business. We phone when we go there. We were given that allowance to say, if we want to come ourselves and book and sit as us, we can do so, but prior phoning. But that time I phoned him to say he's there. I was passing by seeing him. It was not that arrangement.
And what time do you say you called him that day?
I think we finished around 3, between 4 and 5. I might have arrived there around 5 or something like that. I'm not sure.
So you arrived around 5.
Yes.
Witness A and Sergeant Ndhela, according to Witness A, says that they arrived in the evening. Okay? So Vusi knows that you are there already at 5.
Yes.
Does he know that when you are there, you don't want junior police officers there?
At
Ye-
where I'm seated.
Yes.
Yes, where I'm seated, but this hotel is big, has got other venues and they are doing business. I can't stop business because I'm there. But he knew that our arrangement is when we are there, maybe booked there, there mustn't be other people whom we don't know. It's either will be his friends or my friends. So that was the arrangements.
So when he doesn't tell you that Sergeant Ndhela and Witness A is coming later,
He didn't tell me anything.
and when they come there, you interact with them.
They said he introduced them to me, I greeted them.
So if he knows that you don't want them there, when you are there, why does he introduce you to them?
The statement is incorrect.
Okay, please
That-
correct it for me.
You see, you're saying if he knows I don't want them there. The question maybe must be if he knows that I don't want people whom I don't know to associate with, why did he invite them there?
Okay, so what's the difference? Yeah, because you
The difference
remember,
is
no,
you are
remember,
specific.
General, later on, when on the 31st, or the 30th, when Sergeant Ndhela goes alone to the White House, where you are with General Ntombeni and with Brigadier Nkwashu, you see, your version is, you see him through the window by the parking, and you go say to Vusi, tell him I don't want him, I don't want these people here, I don't want them here. And he goes and speaks to them and they leave, and Ndhela leaves. Do you recall that evidence?
Yes.
Okay, so there is clearly a protocol. Vusi knows what your rule is.
Yes.
But here, for the first time, and please understand the context within which Witness A gives this evidence. He says, I get invited to this party. It's the first time I see the general there. It is after we have the meeting of the 16th of May, 2024. Correct? That is after the meeting.
Yes.
Okay. He says, in his mind, it appears to him that this is another attempt to see whether he will be susceptible to receiving a bribe. That's how he perceives it. Of course, at the meeting or at the party, you don't discuss that with him. You don't. I accept that. But that is how he perceives it. Now, I am saying to you in that context, bearing in mind what you say, that this is your friend, he knows how you want to associate with people or not. Why would he come and introduce these two individuals who you just had a meeting with the week before? He knows that they are your juniors. Why would he introduce them to you in your setting where you want to be relaxed and not be interrupted by their presence?
You see, I'll start by answering this one. That is silly for that witness to think what he thought. Because he visited a place invited by somebody. The reason that he never saw me there does not mean I cannot be there. That is a private place and that is a hotel. And again, Vusi introduced me to 2 other police officers because I said I'm passing by him, and it was not those type of arrangements where I'm saying we are coming to sit. I decided to sit even though he introduced two officers whom I didn't know. And then this one come, and then he introduced, and I know them because I met with them. And other than that, I knew them by sight because they used to come to me to sign. And I knew I was going to leave. So I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable because of me. And then I let it go. I sat there. It was only me, the senior member, according to me, because the others were Vusi's friend. And then I left. Then coming to the 31st, it was not the 30th. The 30th, I was in Zambia. I arrived late. I went straight home. That is why I remember. On the 30th, on a Friday, I knocked off duty, and then I phoned General Mtombe, because we usually come together if we have time. And I think the only time General Mtombe have time is Friday and Sunday.
Yes, you did give that evidence.
Yeah, on Sunday, Saturdays is Chanel and so forth. So he said no, he just finished doing something he's staying where he's staying. And then I said no, I want us to unwind. We can meet.
Well, General, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. You've given this evidence, so we know what the version is, how it came about. My question was more specific as to what happened on the 25th of May. That is what my question was
I think
about.
Mr. Makubela can answer that better, because I already indicated I didn't know of the invitation or anything.
Now, you say that it is silly for witness A to have that impression of the invitation and the actual meeting at the White House. But it is not silly if he thought that Vusi, Ndhela or Makubela was your source. Because then it would explain why on the 16th there's a suggestion that there's envelopes available or there's money available. You know witness B is not susceptible to a bribe because she is the one that had actually said to you, why is there not an investigation? Witness A and Sergeant Ndhela are still confused about, and I'm not speaking for Sergeant Ndhela, so let me just speak for witness A. He's confused about what the meeting meant. He's confused about your motives. He's not sure what the reason for suggesting the bribe is. He doesn't know. He gets the invitation. He goes there. Lo and behold, he finds you there. If he thinks that Vusi Ndhela is your source, it makes perfect sense that you are there.
So where did he say he thought Vusi is my source? Because on the transcript I didn't see that, and on his statement I didn't see that. And when did he see me with Vusi? Because that was the first time. So that is why I said it's silly for me, because he doesn't know my relationship with Vusi. I don't know his relationship with Vusi.
General, I'm talking about he's thinking about this after the fact. When after the fact? He thinks about, why am I seeing General Shibiri here? I've never hung out with him. Why am I seeing him here? And why am I seeing Vusi Ndhela with General Shibiri? That is the context within which, and then you must remember, in August, when Tau gets bail, he says that he was informed by Ndhela that you told Ndhela that Tau got bail immediately, almost as soon as the bail order was granted.
Yeah, he should have said so, because that one makes as if he maybe smoked something. That if you don't, you saw me first time with a person, you are worried, why do I know that person? I'm not worried you know the person, because we live in this and that place. When I asked him, they frequent there during the day. And then the issue of Vusi Ndhela, of me telling Vusi Makubela about the bail, it's not true. It's not true. I never told Vusi, and we never discussed that thing of them. It's not true. So that is why I'm saying, so I cannot go about the imagination of somebody unless he can give me something to show that I told Vusi that. But Vusi will come, maybe you must call Vusi, to come and say, I told him about that, and why did I tell him about that? And how did I know he's going to get a bail, or when was he going for bail?
Yes, General. Now, that is, so I'm just putting to you that it is not silly for you to say that because you didn't tell anybody who the source is. Nobody knows the identity of the source. Isn't that the case?
So it doesn't give anybody to speculate and formulate their own opinion based on that. It doesn't give anybody. If you ask me the name, I said I wrote the name, I wrote the cell phone, I'll give it to you. And then you can go and confirm on your own way, but even though it's not allowed. But my source is not Vusindal. I indicated he was working with the police, and when I met him, and he was source somewhere at Crime Intelligence, some other time back, and I don't want to be involved in that, and I don't want to testify about that because it's totally not okay to divulge such information. It's not allowed.
I'm not asking you to
I'm
divulge
not-
that, Chairman.
Yeah, he was not my source, as I indicated in my statement. And him, if he got proof that is my source, maybe it's registered somewhere on a polyphene under me, because we can get that on the polyphene under who was he registered and whatsoever, then it can be proven. But I'm still maintaining that is silly. That is silly mind of them of whoever thought like that you just see it and start coming with your theories against people and tarnishing their name like that. It's not correct.
Okay.
General, can I maybe put it this way, that it may well have been a coincidence that it's witness A.
Witness A.
Yes. It may well have been a coincidence that you happened to be there, and and your presence there is all innocent. But I think what you're being asked to comment on without passing judgment about it is that you have witness A who says you called them. They were told by their commander, their immediate superior, that you want to see them. You have said that before this you had nothing to do with this matter. They get called by their commander, you want to see them, and then they come and see you. You have this conversation with them, you tell them that there's a bag of money that is going around. You tell them to be careful, and then B asks, but why are you not doing anything about these people now that you know that they've done all of this? They leave your office, rightly or wrongly. They leave your office with suspicion. You've already told them that someone is trying to thwart or to undermine the investigation. You've already said that. If they didn't know that before, now you've planted that seed. And I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying the nature of your conversation with them. You've planted the seed in their heads that there are big people involved here. Police, it's a sensitive matter. It involves other police in wrongdoing. They leave the office and they're suspicious. They become suspicious about what this meeting was about. And then A says, I then get a call to attend a party at Vusi's. I get there, I find General Shibiri. Remember, at that time, he's suspicious of that meeting that you had the previous day because he doesn't have a proper explanation for it, at least in his head. And then he finds you there. He, according to you, wrongly, and you say silly. But from his perspective, your presence there, him being invited by Vusi to be there and only to find you, and to find you there on the back of the meeting that he's uncomfortable about that happened, he forms a view about you that the invitation was clearly, General Shibiri is here, he tried yesterday, he sent a message to us yesterday, he's here today. This gathering that I've been invited to looks like it's to soften me or to introduce me into that circle, to get me to do a basis for it. Without it necessarily elevating to conspiratorial answers and considerations. I mean, he may have been completely wrong, but he does say these are the facts that he took into account. When I put it that way, do you want to comment further? You don't have to if you feel you have answered this fully.
Yeah, it's tiring. And there's no fact.
Yeah.
If there was a fact, there should be something which was said in line of that investigation or something said to them by me or Vusi or whatever. So nothing is said. They are sitting, enjoying themselves, invited by their own friend. I'm there on my business which they don't even know. And then I call them on an official duty whereby I inform them what I informed. Really? Yeah, it is wearing on me, and I even think, why did I pass this information? I was trying to save life and assist the people. Now I found myself then answering some theories which I don't understand. And it will never be factual to me, because if ever there was something really when they were there, which happened in relation to the case, or I discussed the case with Vusi and whatsoever, I'll try to ask them, did you think about what I told you? What is the situation and whatsoever? I greet them. I say, feel it well. The only thing which may be awkward, I said, I asked my friend, you told me, you didn't tell me you are opening a police station here. Indirectly telling him, you forgot our arrangements. Now here I'm hearing is the fourth police officers arriving here.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
so for his thinking,
Yeah.
I don't know which motivates the thinking to think that way, and I don't see any logic in that thinking. That is why I'm saying, with due respect, it is silly. It feels silly for me to think like that without any reason. But as he expanded to say, Vusi on one time told him that I told him that Tau is going to got a bail. I don't know Tau. I didn't know Tau. And I didn't have interest in Tau bail or getting bail or whatever. What I had interest was the investigators being safe and the case going forward. And the last time I spoken to them was I spoken to B that he's out on bail, but they are monitoring him. They are going to sort a warrant because it seems the CCTV shows he's going up and down. And on their statements, that one is not even there.
Thank you, General. Let me stop you.
Thank you. General, now I want to deal with the other issue between you and witness A, and that is the call of the 16th of December, 2024. You recall that we had that discussion when you were giving your evidence in chief.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is the one which I was not comfortable with.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's fine.
General, I want to ask you whether you want to revisit your version wherein you denied witness A's version of the call.
Yeah, I think commissioners, I even indicated to the commission my reasons why I say I don't recall. And even indicating, am I allowed to recall these names in this platform? Because that will be endangering my livelihood. And that is what I said even that day. So even now, with the council, we did discuss to say, I don't have problem going back to revisiting my statements and also indicating, it's not all the statement, it's certain part of the statement. I'm prepared to do that, Commissioner, provided I'm protected also.
General, maybe the issue is this. When witness A's version, it's A. When witness A's version of the phone call was put to you, you denied it and put a different version as regards what happened. And you were then asked if a recording was produced showing that what witness A says in their statement is in fact correct, and you still say it would not be correct. And it is in that context, I understand, subject to the evidence leaders correcting me, that they then say, since you are sticking to your version, we will have to produce this recording and have it played. Now, if you want to say, I'm revisiting my denial and I now accept that their version as it appears in the statement and the transcript is correct, then I'm sure it can be dealt with that way. But if you insist that your version is correct, then what I understand is that they're going to have to play the tape or the transcript. And so without mentioning names, I hope you understand the context and you can then explain to us what your position is. I'm hoping you've taken advice from your legal representatives. And you are able to then tell us what the position is.
Yes, we did. The problem is I don't agree with everything. Others are incorrect. Others are correct. Others are incorrect. For example, I indicated to her to say some of the discussion which they indicated was telephonically, it was not telephonically, it was in camera. It was in camera, and exactly even on the transcript, it confirms that what I said. So not totally everything which I indicated is incorrect. What I indicated, some are very correct, some are related to what they are saying. So if I say I agree to everything, then it will be like all what was indicated to be said there, I agree with it, and some are not the correct version. They mix up issues.
General,
Just a minute.